Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris, and today we have a very exciting brand new LEGO review. This is a set that will be released on March 1st, 2023. It is set number 42154. This is the 2022 Ford GT, and you voted which set I should review first out of the March 1st, 2023 lineup, and this was the clear winner. So many people voted, and everybody wanted to see this for good reason, because this is really exciting. So for the first time, we are getting pretty much a predominantly dark blue Technic car. Bionicle fans will love this because they're actually recoloring the Borak eyepieces in dark blue just for this car. Thankfully, those will be appearing on Pick-a-Brick probably in a few months, like by August, I bet they're going to be up there. So quite exciting that we have those. And it's a really unique vehicle. We haven't really gotten a dark blue Technic car in a while. Sure, we have the supercars, which are like orange lime. We got like a blue car that, yeah, some dark blue here. But this is pretty much the only fully dark blue car that we've gotten from Technic, where you can see behind me a lot more different Technic vehicles there. Sure, we got like one of the monster trucks, I guess, like years ago, but nothing really else. So this is super special. I am so excited to share my review of this. It is a really exciting one, and while the set was provided to me by the LEGO Ambassador Network, all of the thoughts and opinions expressed in this review are my own, especially going to be critical on the pricing and talking about whether or not this is worth the price that you're paying, and exactly how accurate is this to the real thing. And so, without further ado, let's jump right in and take a look at the 2022 Ford GT. Alright, so here we have set number 42154. This is the 2022 Ford GT. It will release on March 1st, 2023, and retails for 120 US dollars, 120 euros, and 105 British pounds, with 1,466 pieces. This is an 18 plus icon set, making it the only 18 plus Technic set that we're getting for this year's wave of releases for March 1st. There are only 4 sets coming out in this wave, so that makes sense. It is also the largest of this wave, and is definitely, in my opinion, the most interesting. Folks voted to see what set should be reviewed first, and this was the clear winner for pretty good reason. First of all, it's really special to get a dark blue car, which I mentioned in the intro, and there are a lot of really exciting recolors. Even for folks who just don't want to build the car and just use pieces from the set, there are a lot of very, very special recolors here. And I think it's probably worth talking through a few of them just to kind of give an idea in terms of what you can expect. So, the most exciting recolor for Bionicle fans is that right here, yes, that is the Borak eye in dark blue for the first time. We get 4 of them in the set itself, but don't worry because they'll probably appear on Pick-a-Brick in a few months. I would expect August. We also get a number of different Technic pieces in dark blue for the first time. I'm not a huge expert or cataloger of different colors of Technic pieces, so forgive me if some of these have been released before, but I definitely feel like a lot of these arches and curve pieces are brand new in dark blue, like the top panels here, and especially these side panels as well. And, of course, as you move on to this area right here, you have a lot of smaller Technic pieces like the new comma piece in dark blue. You have these angular pieces here. These are brand new molds for the headlights, so these are transparent clear with a print on them. We also get them in yellow for the firefighter aircraft, and moving onwards, there's just a lot of great parts here. Now, even though some of the parts are not new, a lot of them are just old parts that we haven't gotten really that commonly, such as the 1x2 thin Technic lift arm there. That is a very special one and expensive to get on Bricklink. I would know because I recently had to make a massive Bionicle dinosaur for our fan and contest here on this channel. One of them was in dark blue, and it cost me a lot of money to get lots and lots of these 1x2 lift arms, but thankfully, they are no longer going to cost that much money, so woohoo, I just wasted a lot of money when I could have waited. But moving on to the build itself, the actual build of the car is fairly standard when it comes to a Technic supercar, or even just like a Technic car type build of this scale. You can roll it back and forth. They have just recently, as of I believe last year or 2 years ago now actually, they have reintroduced the original pneumatic kind of cylinder actuator piece in transparent clear so you can actually see it moving. They used to just do them in gray. They were trans clear for a number of years in the early days of Technic, and they brought them back for the Batman Batmobile. So cool to see those in clear. You can actually lift this whole piece up to get a better view of what you can see there. So this is the same that you can see in pretty much any car, but it is nice to see that kind of different piston actuator engine in the back there. Looking at the back of the car, the shaping is really well done. We'll talk about shaping in a second after we discuss the functions in a little bit. Of course, much like, you would expect it at this point, but the car does have steering, so you turn the gear at the top, and the car can steer back and forth, so you can kind of get this steered up. My review space here is kind of small, but you can imagine that this is kind of driving around and like so. So you basically just twist the gear at the top. Unfortunately, the steering wheel does not turn when you twist the actual wheels. That is a bit of a miss, to be honest. I would really liked it if the steering wheel also turned. That is a feature that usually they incorporate in most Technic vehicles, but for whatever reason they chose not to include it in this one. It is just free fixed on an axle, so that's a little disappointing. The doors can be lifted upwards like this. There's no sort of actuator or anything. They could have put an actuator in, but they chose not to, but you just kind of have to lift them upwards like so. It's again more for display rather than play. There is a lift arm right there that you can kind of, if you want to imagine it, you can kind of push up or push down on the lift arm depending on how you want the doors to be opened or closed, and it kind of looks like it's being operated automatically when you twist this. Personally, I think it would have been really cool to actually hook this up to a gear to maybe have each of the doors be able to be twisted open, but again, that would have made it so that there was a gear on the side, and they chose not to do that, just to make sure that there was just no compromise in terms of the aesthetics. Now, the final thing here is that you also have a pretty cool feature. You may notice that, let me lift the door here, there's a little lever on the inside with a very obvious red Technic rod. Well, the way this feature works is that when you push the rod backwards, like so, the back spoiler goes up and goes down. So you kind of push it back and forth. This whole thing actuates up, actuates down. It is super simple. It is a pretty cool mechanism, actually, and one that does kind of take a little bit of finicky moving around pieces to work. I definitely feel that it probably could have been built a little bit better, but it works totally fine. Just sometimes gets caught a little bit, and you have to keep pushing the lever to push it all the way up just because of the way it's done. But it's super simple. You just have a bar that is running through the bottom, and this is kind of where some of the problems can occur, where when you push this lever forward, sometimes it just doesn't want to push this part up because of the friction. But for the most part, it is okay. Obviously, it's not really working that well when it's on its side, but when it's vertical, there's less friction, and that just works out okay. But you do have to keep pushing it a little bit. Of course, it does have suspension, so the front and back wheels are on little shocks here, which is nice, so you can kind of feel the suspension there on either side, and you can also feel the suspension up at the front. So that is pretty much what you would want to expect out of a Technic vehicle like this. There's a pretty limited number of stickers, but they did use stickers for the front Ford logo and stickers to replicate the blue and white stripe going down the center of the car there. So sticker, 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 as well as just a few little stickers on here that honestly don't really add that much. It's just a few extra details on the side, and if you really wanted to, you could leave them off. And the same kind of goes for the lights on the sides of the hubcaps there. Now, in terms of the actual build and shaping of the car, I know a lot of folks have had complaints about how they feel that this is not that accurate to the front of what the car actually looks like. Now, I have a picture of the car pulled up, and I'm kind of trying to compare this with the actual thing. Looking at the actual thing, I definitely feel that there was a very unique type of inner kind of vent that they tried to capture. They kind of did it. There's inner vents on the front of the car that curve inwards like this. I feel like it would have been cooler if it was just a little bit more pronounced. Here, it's really hard to notice. You might not even realize that this is supposed to be an indent until you really look at it. So that could have been more noticeable. I feel like it could have gone in a little bit deeper. Not really sure how they could have done it with Technic pieces, because they're pretty much at the limit there. Then you start hitting the steering mechanism. So maybe that's why, but would have been nice to get that. And then there also is a very, very noticeable kind of front intake. I'm not quite sure what that is, but there is a big groove that's supposed to sit here. And looking at the car front on, on the face on, you can kind of see that there's supposed to be a groove here. But it also is just not quite as pronounced as it should be. I definitely feel like it should have been more pronounced. One big feature of the car that they did not replicate are the headlights. The way the headlights are done on the real world thing is that they have two really interesting large circular elements here on the insides of the lights. You can't really do that with LEGO, so that I can kind of forgive. And everything else is, honestly not that bad. I've heard a lot of people be very angry online about oh, the shaping isn't good and it's just not the accurate car and this doesn't look anything like what it's supposed to.
like I can kind of see it. Like, I can kind of see some confusion as to, like, maybe this should have been deeper, maybe this should have been more pronounced. But to me, maybe, again, I'm not the big car guy. I'm not really super into all the nitty-gritty details of vehicles. This feels good enough to me, and at the very least, if it isn't a good representation of the actual real-world thing, it's a really cool dark blue Technic car. Like, this is a great parts pack. The amount of new recolors and dark blue pieces returning after years in absence here is just phenomenal. I am so happy with this, and happy that we're getting so many great pieces in dark blue being reintroduced to the Technic portfolio. Now, one last thing I do want to talk about here as we sum up the review is the price. So, this is an 18 plus set, so it is one of the Icons line of sets that has the black box and the whole fancy style of presentation and everything, and for $120. Honestly, maybe I'm biased here, because I was really excited for this set and all the dark blue pieces. $120 doesn't feel that bad to me. Like, I don't know, it feels pretty okay. Of course, this has 1,466 pieces, so that is a 7.2 price per part ratio, so not too bad. That is pretty good compared to a lot of other stuff. So, again, a lot of those are Technic pins and axles and beams, but for the most part, it feels like you're paying for what you get. Ironically, the other set in the wave, the Firefighter Aircraft, is $100 and feels a lot bigger than this. You get a lot more bang for your buck with that set, just visually speaking. But if you're a car fan, if you like dark blue, if you think a dark blue car looks cool, like a lot of people do, this is a car for you, because it's very rare that LEGO will do something like this, and it's probably going to be the only dark blue predominant car that we're going to get from Technic in a while, because you don't do it that often, and they just did it now. If I had to make one minor complaint, and I don't want to be that guy, I don't want to be that reviewer who always says, oh, this is a big issue. The axles are in red. LEGO has done in the past year, literally this year's wave of sets, for 18 plus sets, they have specifically given black axles instead of red axles in order to not compromise on the design. I don't know why they didn't really do that here. It's an 18 plus set. I would expect that maybe for a kid set, like a 6 plus set, a 7 plus set. Yeah, put the red axles in because they're not going to be able to color differentiate them and find the pieces easily. If there's little black axles compared to little black Technic pins, I understand that for kids. But this is an 18 plus set, and I definitely feel that they really didn't need to include just red axles because it does kind of take away from the design. And the thing is, if they really wanted to, they only needed to change 4 of them. If they just changed this one, and the 2 here, then I think it would have been less of a problem. Sure, it would have been nice if they changed the ones in the back in red, but really the only ones that really stand out to me is that you've got this beautiful black, dark blue, and white type of car, and you just have 2 little very bright red dots on the front and then 2 on the sides. LEGO has, in recent years, done different pins in the same bag, in the same build, to allow it to be differentiated. And they've done that for Technic, they've done that for System, and they've especially done that with 18 plus sets. So if I can complain a little bit, I do kind of wish that they just did it for this set. Of course, most Technic fans, most Bionicle fans, and LEGO fans probably have a number of black axles lying around, but you shouldn't be expected to use your own collection to supplement this. You should be expected to just have the pieces you want ready when the set is ready. So, personally, that's just how I feel. Otherwise, pretty happy with this build. I am probably going to be more positive on this than most reviewers on YouTube. I know that lots and lots of people are angry and complain about the way the front looks and how it doesn't look accurate. But to me, again, just to me, who's not a big car guy, I don't really pay that much attention to the difference from one car to another, it looks okay. It's not that bad. It looks close enough for a Technic car. And I do think that if you do want to replicate the shaping of something unique like this with the way the doors are done and the intakes on the inside here, and then of course the front archways, I would do it with System. Do it with the Creator Expert Icon stuff, or do it with Speed Champions. Technic is a really good tool for doing car shaping if it's really big. At this scale, at this kind of 1:8 style scale, it's not really that big. It's you do have to compromise on the details somewhat, and that I do understand. I definitely feel again, the price is right for this type of build. I've been waiting for a dark blue Technic set in a while, and this absolutely delivered. So I'm pretty happy with this. This is easily my favorite set of the Technic wave. And stay tuned for even more March 1st, 2023 LEGO Technic reviews. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I think that about sums up this review, and let me know down in the comments, what do you think of the Ford GT 2022?
All right, and with that, we have summed up our look at the 2022 Ford GT releasing March 2023. And yeah, this is a really exciting set, even just as a parts pack. I mean, Bionicle fans obviously will have a lot of great stuff to do with this particular model. It is so exciting how we're finally getting those Borak eyepieces in dark blue. So happy that we're getting those. And even beyond those, lots of great dark blue recolors for LEGO Technic in general. Just a really fun parts pack and set all around. And for car fans, this is absolutely a really exciting model. I think there have been a lot of complaints about it kind of not looking quite as good or quite close to the real model, which I can kind of understand it. I mean, looking at official pictures of the actual car, maybe the shaping could have been a little bit better, but I still do think that this is, even by itself, excluding what it's supposed to be in real life, it just looks really good. It's a really good dark blue car, something we've been wanting from LEGO Technic for a long time. They have finally delivered. So of course, let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of the set? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? What do you think of the price? I'm curious what folks think about the price of this model. And with that, we've summed up our look at one of the 4 March 2023 sets coming out very soon. And stay tuned to the Duckbricks channel because we'll be posting reviews on all of the other ones very shortly. Thanks all so much for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. Thanks so much, and bye for now.